Hello, everyone. So thanks, John, for the introduction. Today I will be talking to you about third-party footprint and third-party widgets and all that stuff. And I hope after lunch you're not too tired, you have your coffee or your tea, and hopefully you can just tag along with me here. All right, so as John also said, I live in Toronto, that's in Canada, and that's pretty much like 20 hours of travel time to get here, but it's definitely worth being here in Australia. I love burritos. That's one of my things that I like to do, and especially also when I'm in different cities to try out different burritos. I work as a product manager right now at ON, but previously with the CBC, as John also introduced me nicely. And I'm very passionate about web performance, and that's why I created a meetup in Toronto, the web performance group. And we have about, I think, 200 members, and it's going well, and I'm very, very excited about that. All right, but that's enough about me. Let's get this party started. Just want to ask the audience, who here has created a website? Wow, that's amazing. Great. Okay, I think it's the right audience then. And who has put third-party scripts on it or in it? Excellent. This is going to be a good talk. Great. All right. So, as a definition or a setup of what third-party scripts or third-party content is, I want to show you that quote from Ben Vinegar. And Ben Vinegar, he created a very good book about third-party scripts. And he's also a great engineer at Discus, a commenting platform in San Francisco. And he wrote this, and basically what it says, anything served to the client that's provided by an organization that's not the website provider is considered to be third party. And when we think about third-party scripts, there are obviously different types of third-party scripts. And one of them could be ads. You have your tracking and analytics scripts in there, some fonts. Lately, lots of websites have different fonts now, not the regular browser fonts, excuse me. Social media, who doesn't know the Facebook like button and likes it, and social media, and then libraries and frameworks. And the thing what you have to, from a third-party provider, what you have to be careful about is that you don't know the context and where people put your widget, and so you don't know what the doc type is. You have to be careful with shared environments like namespaces. So those are all things that are challenging for third-party providers. All right, but now I want to kind of get you guys engaged, as I said, after lunch. What do you think is the first #1 used third-party script these days? jQuery, okay. It's so tough to hear anything. I shouldn't have asked that question. I just assume that you've said one of the ones that I'm going to show you now. What I did is I took this from HTTP Archive. Who here knows what HTTP Archive is? Oh, excellent, great. For the ones who don't know, it's kind of like it tracks how the web is built. So it shows you trends from all the top, I think, 1 million Alexa websites. It runs queries. It's kind of in a database that tells you, what the percentage of Flash sites versus non-Flash sites is these days. And what is really cool with HTTP Archive, Ilya Grigorik from Google, he created a tool online which is called BigQuery. And what you can do there, you can run literally database queries on HTTP Archive to get back the results or the queries that you want to run. And that's what I did here. And I basically asked, well, my query was about, show me the most commonly used third-party scripts. And I don't know if anybody has said that, but it is Facebook, #1. I ran this query in February, so it might have changed by now, but this was what it was. And by the way, I have all the links and all the slides and everything I will make on publicly available after, so you don't have to worry writing down anything. And what I also want to point out is here the distribution of third-party versus first-party. We've been seeing over the years that there is more and more content that is not coming from your own domain, and third-party scripts are being more included more and more. So you definitely want to pay attention to that and make sure that you're including them and using them the right way. And in terms of distribution, what's the most common third-party scripts? It's definitely advertising, it's analytics, it's personalization, marketing, tag management, and then at the bottom, social media. That was a survey that was done for retail websites. I think important when you talk and when you think about third-party scripts, it's always easier for people to visualize what the impact is or how things look like if you include them. And there's a really neat tool which is called 3D Tilt. And what it does, so this is a CBC website, and I don't know if you've heard of our mayor in Toronto. He's always in the news for bad things. This is the Google Plus button, a Facebook button, a bunch of share buttons, and what you can see the markup or the complexity of this little piece in comparison to all the other content, such as images and all that stuff, is way more complex and way bigger. So this, to me, when I look at it, it's quite scary. The other one I like a lot is Ghostery. It's a Firefox and a Chrome plugin. And what it shows you here in this red box, it shows you all the third-party scripts that are being used on this page. And, you can tell some of them I know, and I kind of recognize them, LinkedIn widgets and all that stuff. But then there are also some that are called Tapat. I don't know, have you heard of that? Do you know what that is? Anybody? Like that, see, so there's a bunch of third-party scripts that I wonder why they're even on that page. And then I kind of tried to prepare myself for Australia, so I figured out I think this is one of the news websites that you, I guess, regularly use. At least it showed up in the top Alexa websites for Australia. This guy has 81 scripts. That's a lot. That's a lot. And then also, again, odometry. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's common here, but I don't know what that script will do. Definitely, there's huge foreign content overload when you look at those tools that visualize the impact. Another one is, I took this from Webpage Test.org, which is a great website to run web page tests and performance tests on your website. And this is, those pies are content breakdowns. And what it shows you, this is from wired.com. So basically half of the requests and bytes that are being used on this page is not coming from the actual domain. So if you see all those little colored slices of pie, they come from, see, Tapat is down there, and it's coming from Facebook. So you see the ratio between your own content and foreign content is kind of moving and shifting. And consider that HTTP request is around 200 milliseconds. So anything you put on your page with an extra call to different DNS lookup or a different server, it adds more to your page load time. But let's step back. So what's the issue? Because ads, apparently they help us make money. That's how we make money with our websites. And tracking also helps us to identify what our users are, what they like, what things we should put on the page, what should we remove. And this is kind of why I'm here today. And this is what I want to talk to you about. So I want to talk to you about the issues and the negative impacts of third-party scripts, which is, in general, broadly performance, but then also very specifically front-end single page of failure, which I'll show you. And then the privacy, right? I think you also want to make sure that what you put on your page is secure and does what it's supposed to do, because you want to also protect your users. And then I want to present you, obviously, with a few potential solutions, such as some safe snippets that you can literally take, copy and paste, and you're safe. I want to talk a bit about caching and hosted libraries, because also that has been kind of a debate when it comes to third-party scripts and performance improvements. And then, obviously, some tools and initiatives, because there have been some great initiatives that have been started around promoting, the importance of third-party scripts and how to include them. Let's start with performance in general. So every single time you add a script to your page, it will add to your load time. It will not go away. It will get slower, for sure. So imagine that. There are more connections that you have to open. It basically could slow down your web page. And then what I watched a great video online from the Google I/O in 2012, from the guys who did the Google Plus button. And I really like this quote kind of as a rule of thumb. And basically what it says, if I'm quoting it now, the value you get out of a widget needs to be greater than the performance that you're taking. So imagine, is it really worth putting something on your page that doesn't really give anything more value to your page? Government UK, they recently included third-party scripts, so social media, on their page. They let it run for a bit, and then they actually noticed that only 0.2% people coming to the site came from those social media links. So I guess not a lot of more value to it. So why not removing it then? Because it's just adding more load time to your page. Same with ads. You have to understand that when you put ads on it, this research study from Nielsen shows that if you put ads on your page and your page is very slow, the total viewing time for people to look at your promotional space, only 1% of the total viewing time will go to that ad that you place in there. If you have, however, a very fast loading web page, probably 20% of the viewing time of your user will go to the promotional space. I always like to try out things, and especially when it comes to ads. I don't know who likes ads on pages, I don't. And I had a chance to ask myself that question, what would a life look like or feel like without ads? And it's not only me that wanted to try that, but also Steve Souders, I'm quoting, he tweeted something a few years ago, and Ymail turned off ads for 3 days, and they saw an increase in performance by 73%. That's quite a lot. So again, going back when I used to work at CBC, there was an unfortunate event, or fortunate event, over a weekend where we had to turn off ads, and that was my chance to go in, do some performance tests, and see actually what the impact is of removing ads from a page. It was our mobile website, so not the desktop website, but the mobile website. But what turned out was that if you don't use client-side ads, so JavaScript, we reduced the page load time by 40%. So that's quite a lot. I mean, not as much as 73%, but still quite a lot. So the reason why we turned off ads was because it was good for us to identify that something was going wrong. And the reason why we did this is because we monitored. We had our performance reports that showed us when the load time went above a certain number that we get alerted that something is wrong, and that's what basically happened. So I want to show you this kind of little graph. So here, as I said, it's the mobile side, the touch side, mean in seconds. So we were always below 7.5 seconds. So smooth sailing, everything was fine, and then all of a sudden we noticed a spike, and it didn't stop. And all of a sudden, we saw client-side ads being injected in our page, which was not something that I had set up. I had set up server-side ads. So something must have happened with our ads department back then, adding stuff to it that wasn't supposed to be added. And you see it reached up to 10 seconds. So that's a lot. And then we said, let's turn it off, because this is unacceptable. We want our users to have fast-loading websites. So we got them to turn it off, the ads, and as you can tell, it just went bang, going down to a bit above 5 seconds. So, all right, and then so this was then we turned it slowly on again, and then it worked out after that. So now the next one is single point of failure, which is something that can happen, as by definition Wikipedia says, it will stop the entire system from working. And that's something very important to note when you include third-party scripts. And this is basically the offender. What do you think is wrong with this code? What's so bad about this? Still have the same issue again. I can't really hear what you guys are saying. It's blocking, exactly. So it will block the rendering of anything after this line, and that's pretty bad. So people think, yeah, but you know what? Third-party providers don't really go down. Come on, they're pretty. It's Twitter, right? Twitter never goes down. Oh yes, they do. They do. 2012, Facebook goes down. February 2013, Facebook bug pretty much took down. August 2013, the Amazon web server went down. And then you have also the Great Firewall of China, which is you know, a censorship surveillance project, and Twitter is not available in China. So if you have something included in your page that refers to a Twitter widget and you're in China, it might not work if you don't, your page basically doesn't load, depending on where you have it and how you include it. Okay, so this is, I wanted to basically simulate a single point of failure for you guys, and I used TechCrunch. And you would, again, assume that TechCrunch knows how to include their stuff and has good developers to do it, because that's their business. So what happened, I'm going to show you here now. Original is the website without single point of failure, so assuming Twitter is not down, but on the right side, assuming Twitter is down. This is how it, sorry, does it start? Yeah, there you go. So it stops load, it's fully loaded on the left side after 5 seconds. And then on the other side, you see the stuff, and it's going on and on and on. It doesn't load. So by now, I probably would have moved to Mashable or whatever, like any other website. I wouldn't be using TechCrunch, right? So I'm not going to let that run, because I also see my time, so I want to be on time here. So after 45 seconds, it times out, and then it shows. So what I used here to do this is a tool called Spotformatic by Pat Meenan. Excellent tool. So what I did, so you can install it as a Chrome plugin, and you can generate a video from it. Like you can simulate how the single point of failure could look like. It brings you then to this page, which shows you all the third-party scripts that are being simulated to be turned off or down. And then it shows you a film strip, and you can see at what point it loads the original versus the SPOF, which is in the red box. But what's now really interesting, I want to crash this party. Let's figure out how we can solve and how we can avoid single point of failures. When I was at CBC, we started using a new commenting tool, which is Verifora. And I thought, well, you know, I would probably include it properly, and it's all good. But then I looked at the source code, and what I noticed here was that we had put the script tag, the offender, at the very top of the page before the body tag. So if Verifora were supposed to go down, CBC would not be able to display news to Canadians, which is, that's their business, right? Just going to skip that now, because I want to focus on other things. So this is basically, I'm running the same thing again on CBC website, and it would do the same thing. So it just loads regularly, and SPOF would just white out everything. So what I did then is a medium solution would be you just put that script at the bottom, and then you're good. But there's a better way of doing it, which is an asynchronous solution that I took, literally copy and pasted from Stoyan Stefanov. He's an engineer doing a lot of good stuff on the like button. And I'm gonna explain that in a second. So in general, initializing client-side scripts, you have at the very top here the offender, then you have 2 other script tags that you can use, or attributes that you can include, such as async and defer. What both do is basically they help stop blocking the rendering. The async, however, as well as the defer, are tools or are features that are not supported with all browsers yet. So you want to be careful including them if you really have to support a bunch of browser and legacy browsers. Async does asynchronous loading, so it loads it parallel. Defer loads it after the script loads the script after the page is fully loaded. The best way is the dynamic script tag, which I showed you prior in the CBC page, and it's asynchronous. And I want to briefly go through this. So you start with your immediate self-invoking function, and you make sure that any temporary variables remain in the local scope and don't bleed in the host page's global namespace. Then you have the first available script tab element of the page. You're looking for that. So that's that tag. Then the next line is you want to check if the script has already been included in a page, such as 15 times copy and paste, so you have jQuery versions or whatever in there. So that makes sure that it only is included once. And then you create the script element. Then you attach the source to it. So in this case, it was Vera. And then you include it into the DOM. You insert it. And that's pretty much it. So remember before, that's how it looked. After 5 seconds, the normal page was loaded, or 10 seconds. And then after 25 seconds, it slowly loaded the rest of the page because it was simulating this BOF, basically. And this is how it looked after. So you see there's no difference. Smooth sailing, VR4 can go down, CBC doesn't care, the site is being loaded. Well done, excellent. So I think it's important to, always focus on prevention and protect yourself from third-party scripts and make sure that they're not, screwing up the load time of your page. I mentioned a few tools, Buffomatic, which is the tool that you can generate a single point of failure. There's also from Stoyan the Wiselow extension 3PO, which is a great tool as well. You can also do your own black hole simulator. You set your DNS to, for example, Facebook to a black hole IP, simulating that Facebook is down or Twitter is down. The guys from eBay did a really good thing. It's called SPOF check. And it's an open source project as well. And what they do, they use obviously continuous integration and deployment, and they do on their automated builds check if some of the developers have included the offender script tag, and if they have, the build fails, right? So you have to correct it. Very excellent tool. So lots of tools out there. Again, my follow-up blog post will have all those links for you. And then caching. Caching is something that some people say might be something useful for third-party scripts as well, because they're cached, and you might not notice when Twitter is down while you have it in your cache and it doesn't refetch the Twitter script. But that's not really the case, because this is all the cache policies that third-party scripts have an extremely hard aggressive expiration policy. So, for example, Google, every 3 minutes, it's refetching the new script. Like when you load the page and you had the page loaded more than 3 minutes ago, it refetches the script again. So this is quite difficult to work with cache, and assuming that the cache could save you in case something goes down. And then hosted libraries. That's something that people like to start using these days. So you go to Google CDN and you take your jQuery version or your Dojo or whatever and include it on your page. But what I noticed here, so this is a snippet taken from Google CDN's page. Nothing in there it says that you should put it at the bottom of the page or load it asynchronously. They actually present you with that offender script tag, which I don't think is good. So big SPOF alert here. So don't do this. Don't just copy and paste that offender tag. Rather do this. So this piece is, again, the piece that we went through, the asynchronous solution. So see if Google CDN is working, and if not, then have your fallback and have your local jQuery version in there with the bottom script tag. All right. So then, in terms of Google-hosted jQuery fragmentation, some people also say, well, it's so great, you can use the jQuery version, put it in your website, and then you probably, the previous page that you visited probably has a jQuery version as well in there, so you take it from the cache and everything is good. But the problem with jQuery is there's a lot of fragmentation with different versions out there. So even if you came from website A that had a jQuery version and now they're coming to your site, the chances that it's the same version might not be the greatest. So in this case, it might not work out as a good solution. So what's the verdict, hosted libraries or not? It really depends. I mean, you have the advantage of using a CDN if you don't have your own CDN. This might be something you want to check out. Other than that, it would be still a separate DNS lookup. It still could cause your web page to be slow. So you have to evaluate what's best. And then privacy. Privacy is something that is dear to my heart, and I think it should for everybody out there. So you don't want to, when you go to a page, you assume that the things that are on that page, they don't steal the data from you that you actually, if you haven't authorized them to do that. Also that third parties who don't manipulate the stuff that is on your page, and not track anything that you haven't authorized them to do. And as an example, I have to bring up the like button. So what the like button does based on the definition is it's the quickest way for people to share content. So I took that from the developer portal, from Twitter, from Facebook, sorry. A single click on the like button will like pieces of content on the web and share them on Facebook. So I opt in to like and to have Facebook knowing what I like, okay? But what they don't tell you is they track your visit to website, your IP, maybe your social insurance number, your credit card, depending on where that like button is in. Did you agree to that? Probably not, okay? Okay. So a few open source initiatives and resources that I think are important to mention. To me, it's the Privacy Hero. In Germany, it's a German computer magazine, online and in print. And they started this solution, which is called the two-click solution. And the two-click solution, what it does is it only sends data to Facebook as soon as you actually say, yes, I want to enable the like button. Okay, if you don't enable the like button, there will be no communication to the Facebook server. It's not going to give anything out there. So I think I like that idea, and people have been using that. It's also all open sourced, so you can check it out and actually play around it with yourself. When it comes to my third-party performance heroes, it's Philip Tallison, Stoyan Stefanov, Dave. Philip is working on a RAM tool called Boomerang, which is a real user monitoring tool. He's been very focused on making third-party scripts fast and find solution for it. Same with Stoyan. He's done so much work on the like button to make it faster and to make it easy to include. So those guys are helping a lot, and if you want to know more about third-party solutions and different, script patterns, check those guys out. And then Google has a great on the developers page. I really like this page. It lists out all the third-party providers that are going asynchronous and providing good scripts to you that you can include. So check this out as well. And then, which came out of something I was part on a panel last year with Andrew and Ben from Discus and Stoyan and Ilya. And what we did after this panel, we said, we need something for people to educate what is a good script, what is a bad script. And we did that by creating, big thanks to Andrew for starting this, which is called JS Manners. It's kind of like a rating tool or rating for scripts. So if it's in the early stages, so there's not a lot, but what we are obviously envisioning in the future is if you have, if you're a product manager or a developer and you have to include something, you would go to that page and figure out, oh, that's a good script to use. Vera4 is great, or the Discus commenting script is great. So please contribute to it. It's on GitHub. We're very happy if you do that. Add some of your experiences in there. And then basically to wrap it up now, next time before you copy and paste stuff, as a publisher and developer, what do you want to do? So you almost want to refuse third-party content that doesn't provide asynchronous options, I find. It's your right to ask this provider, because I guess you're paying a lot of money, or there's some sort of relationship going on that you want to make sure that that's the case. Put the risk in the SLA, see what the uptime, downtime is from those providers. Again, we said Twitter and Google, those guys, they do go down. Review JS Manners. As I said, it's in the early stages, but hopefully in the future we can all go there and say, yeah, the script is great. Educate other junior developers or developers you saw with CBC. Reaching out to the developers and saying, hey, this is not really good. So tell your other developers, hey, when you put something in there, think about the asynchronous solution. Ask for server-side options. We did that with the CBC for ads. We had a server-side solution. Instead of using JavaScript, it worked out well for mobile websites. It was fast. Evaluate tag managers. I think Etsy, they're doing some tag management. That's what I read in a blog post, to basically combine all the scripts for the third-party scripts and go to through one channel. Investigate hosted libraries, so see if that makes sense. If you're already using a CDN, it might not. You'll have to go through that. And again, monitor, because it is somebody else's content that you're putting on your page, so you want to make sure everything is fine. And for a script provider, I feel you should be providing non-blocking code samples and snippets that even the developers can't even get to that point of including it. A hint to this Google page, right? Copy and paste. Like, explain how you copy and paste. Educate developers. I feel it should be a communication at the end once that relationship is closed and the person has included the third-party script on their page. The third-party provider should have a look at it and say, hey, yeah, you did it the right way. I think this just shouldn't be too bad. All right, and that was all. Party's over. And this is the blog post, or the link with all the articles and all the presentations that I was referring to today. That's it.